Hey, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing all right. Just going to do a video here about a couple of things I made. Sorry about the weird lighting. The sun is still out, but it's in like a weird spot in the sky and it's just hitting like all the bars on my window. But I have a light here, and just the way the sun's coming in, it's just sort of, I don't know, they're fighting each other, so so to speak. And yeah, it's making it really dark in a weird way. So anyway, if I try and wait and do it later, it's gonna be even darker, and then I got to do it in a different room. And I just kind of wanted to do it while I was sitting on the couch. But but anyway, yeah. So this is a couple things I made in the past when I was younger, as a kid. Um, One thing I'm gonna do first. I did mention this in a video a long time ago. Um, a friend of mine, who I was friends with, I'll make this little story brief, but we were friends as kids, and then we sort of parted ways for a bit when we went into high school. I went to one school, you went to a different school, but we were still friends. And then we started, reconnecting again, and we made a little band, and with this other guy, Nathan, who turned out to be kind of a douche later on in life for different reasons. But anyway, so we made a quick little band. Didn't play or anything on stage or in front of people. It was just us screwing around. We made a album, which I have the cassette for right here. The only recording of this that actually exists. And so the sad thing is, when we got a little bit older, I moved away. We lived in Mississauga. It's a city on the west side of Toronto. But I when we got older, I moved out of Mississauga. Actually lived out in the country for a little while, and we sort of went our separate ways for a while. And then, courtesy of Facebook, we ended up reconnecting, and we were chatting all the time. And he had a different band that was a little bit successful, I think. And I actually never got to go out and see them play. But one day he just sort of ghosted me on Facebook, unfriended me, and wouldn't respond to any of my messages. And I was just like, all right, so whatever. I let it go. And that was probably I'm going to say about 10 years ago, at least. But I'll say about 10 years ago. And then just a couple years ago, or sorry, a year ago, I was like, you know what? I missed the guy. I want to see what's up, what's going on, why, what happened? Did I do something? Did I say something? Did I post something? But anyway, so I went to look for him on Facebook, and before I went to look for him, rather, I was planning to look for him. Some pop up, someone's memory came up saying that they missed him and rest in peace and all this, and I was like, whoa, like what the fuck? I was just thinking about him, and then I found out, yeah, he had passed away. So it was pretty heartbreaking, a little bit pretty upsetting. And I even tried to reach out to his family, and I even wrote a song about him and stuff, which I'll probably post it here, talk about it here, with like I've done with a few of my other songs in the past. But and I never heard back, so I'm just don't know if that's a connected thing or if just whatever. But anyway, I always say, yeah, rest in peace, Ken, and I still miss you, buddy. But anyway, we did for a band with this guy Nate, and I do have a copy of it here. Up there, it's just crudely made, obviously, 1990. So that's how I was 17 years old at the time. Nate and him would have been 16 years old. So the name of the band was called The Vicious Dead. And as a joke, I said, oh, let's call the album Rip Your Head Off and Eat It. And they're like, oh, I like that. I like that. Because it's nothing on it was serious. It was just us screwing around, having fun. We didn't even have any equipment. We didn't have a bass player. I mean, Ken could play bass. He could also play. He was actually very talented. He could play the keyboards. He's 16 years old, and he was an incredible guitarist. He could play the keyboards. He could play the bass, and then later on, he actually became a bassist in the band he was in. I think it was called Canadian Honky, and he could also play drums. And yeah, and he was okay. Like he had a synthesizer, and we used to mess around on that a lot. And yeah, it was just great talent. And so, but we didn't actually have a bass player. He was playing guitar. Nate, who never drummed before his life, he just rented a drum kit just for fun. And so we just got together, and it's mostly Nate going through the whole thing, through most of it. A couple, maybe a little fill or a couple cymbals here and there, but generally speaking, it was more just a steady beat because he wasn't a drummer. He just got it for fun and something to horse around with, and Ken's playing guitar, and I'm just we had the only thing we had was we didn't have a recording equipment. We had a little tape recorder. This wasn't the cassette that was in it. This is a copy of a copy, so it's a downgraded version from wherever the original one went. And sorry, something in my teeth. But I'm just screaming into this tape recorder, and Ken's playing. And basically, we had to figure out how close do I have to be to not get drowned out by the drums, because I didn't even have a microphone. Like, I had nothing. I was just yelling into a tape recorder while they're behind me playing. And we had to figure out how far apart does everybody have to be so the recording doesn't sound like, so you could at least hear the three of us. So, and it actually, for what it was, it came out pretty good. And I remember when I was 19 or 20, a band I knew at the time, I think they were called Rodent. They did a show, and I said, "Oh, you play my tape; it'll be fun." And they played it. So, and everybody's like rocking out to it. They were just drinking their beers and bopping their heads to it. I was like, "Oh, wow." It got played somewhere. So the only time it had ever been played in a public space, but yeah, it was kind of fun, kind of cool. A little bit of a fun memory. So anyway, where the name Vicious Dead came from was actually from Sid Vicious. I wasn't wearing this shirt, and yeah, it's an old sleeveless shirt that I can barely fit into, that I've had since I was about 16 years old. And I know you're thinking, oh, that's what his arms look like. Yeah, steroids, right? Yeah, no, more like hemorrhoids. But actually, I'm lucky. I've been spared the horrors of hemorrhoids. So, and so far, it's not something I want. But anyway, but yeah, the shirt said Sid Vicious Dead. It was the excuse me. It was from the newspaper article, a printing of the newspaper article in the front of the shirt, and it just said Sid Vicious Dead in big letters with a picture of Sid beside it. And then we were just thinking of different names, and it was actually Nate's side. He goes, "What about Vicious Dead?" And then we're like, "Oh, I like that. That's actually sounds pretty cool." So that's where the name came from. Rip Your Head Off and Eat It was just me sounding silly, like stupid, like, what stupid name can we call it? And it just kind of stuck. And I think on the side it said Side Shit or something, and Side One, I don't know, Side One Man. Oh, I know, I wrote Shit Records. That was the fake label we came up. But I'm just trying to, I don't know if you can't really read it, but that was a little doodle on there. But I even made like a little inlay card or liner notes. You can see there, and the names of the songs were My Way, and no, not the Sid Vicious, not a cover of the Sid Vicious cover of the Sinatra song. It was just a song I wrote, teen angst song against my parents. I want to do things my way. I think it was like, I want to do things my way, my way, my way, my way, or nowhere. Except it was more like screaming in the microphone. And that's kind of how it sounded. A Date with Death, which I think was a song about doing drugs or something. And it was it was the one, and it was lines like in your arm, up your nose. How did it go? In your arm, up your nose, stash in pockets of your clothes, light it up, take a toke, then you choke on the smoke, cocaine, LSD, all for you, none for me. Yeah. Didn't want my parents to know I was around people that, because I was never into drugs, honestly, but I was always around them. So that's why I said, all for you, none for me. Because I didn't care. It wasn't my thing. And then another stupid punk song, which is essentially a song about beating up or killing Ronald McDonald. And one of the lines was, we're going to get that red wig clown motherfucker, and we're going to beat up his big fat purple pal. So yeah, it was just a silly song. And actually, even all the lyrics I wrote down all the lyrics in there. So, and then side A, yeah, it says Roy Milner, lead vocals, because it's my real name, Roy Milner. Tempting, then Ken, his last name, all guitars, backing vocals, and then Nate, drums, and I put lead vocals, and then attempting in letters, attempting in brackets for me, and then because I'm not a singer. I mean, I like to pretend I am, and then Nate drums because he never drummed before. I just put in brackets attempting, and then all songs written by Roy Milner except Bold Exit, written by Roy Milner and Ken. Yeah, Bold Exit. Was that even? Oh, and then we did the Batman theme down there, and that's weird that Bold Exit isn't actually listed in the credits, the song credits. But anyway, yeah, that was just a silly song. It was like the puffin stop sign that used to say exits, but boldly changed to a sign that says exit. The loser that did it has a needle in his head. 10 days ago, he was found dead. The song is stupid. We know it's true. We wrote it for fun, and we wrote it for you. Yeah, I remember that one. So the second thing I'm going to talk about, a little more positive because, this was fun to talk about, but, it's based on not a broken heart. But actually, it is based on, I can't, this is something I will keep just, and I would love to have, his family had actually responded to me reaching out to them and stuff, I would definitely have made a copy of that on CD or something, or just on a stick or something and just sent it to them, or just online somehow. I don't know how to do that, but I know people that do. And then just here, and then they can hear us screwing around trying to play music at that age. Well, him playing music and the rest of us just screwing around. So anyway, next thing, Wizard of Oz VHS copy that I made. Well, I made the case for it. Now here's the thing, all these little pictures, my grandmother religiously got the Enquirer magazine and Star and all those tabloid magazines, and there was always ads for like plates, collectible stuff. There was always a lot of Wizard of Oz stuff. So I actually made the copy of the Wizard of Oz, recorded it from the TV version, cut out the commercials and stuff at Ken's house, because at that time he had two VCRs, which we didn't at the time. Eventually we had like 4, I think, at one point. But anyway, so we did it, and then I made this cover. So I just pulled the cassette out there, and the cassette still works because I watch it every year on my birthday. And last year, not this year on my birthday, but the year before, I watched it. And yeah. But anyway, these are all just cutouts from the Enquirer magazine that I taped all up, and the white part here. Actually, I think this isn't even an actual VHS box. I made it out of some kind of like a Kleenex box. I just cut it and folded it and made it look like a VHS box. Why I didn't use an actual one, I couldn't tell you. And then I think it was just a yellow envelope that I just cut up and covered it with, and then taped all the pictures on. Let's see, that I found in the there's Toto down here. It's a little rough looking. I mean, to put things in perspective, I did this in 1988, and you can see the date there. I wrote copyright 1988. MVids. I think it said Milner Videos originally, but yeah, 1988. Wizard of Oz there, and that's actually an actual VCR cover. Like, it was from an ad, and I cut that out and put that on there. And yeah, and then for some reason, I guess because I was only 15 years old when I made this. So yeah, that's like almost a long time ago. that's like almost 40 years ago. Holy shit, I'm old. But yeah, almost like 38 years ago. And I've had this for 38 years. Think about that. I've had that thing for over 30 years, like 35 years, let's say. But yeah, I put a lot of work in this. But for some reason, because I didn't know any better, I didn't know. I wrote the movie was made in 1928 for some reason. I think I wrote it on here somewhere. It's kind of faded in some spots. I'm just trying to find the spot. Wizard of Oz, blah, blah, blah. There. I know it's on here somewhere. 1988, that's my date. Meow, I hear you. I could have sworn it was written on there 1928 somewhere. black and white / color. But yeah, I even put a little thing in there, and then and I think I used just one of those blue folded uh, file folders. But anyway, yeah. So that's just a couple things I made years and years ago that I still have. That I've just kept around, and the reason I kept this just memories, and also being a cinephile, it's just kind of fun to have. And for other people that are fans of the Wizard of Oz, they also they can have a small bit of appreciation in seeing this. That, oh wow, you did that. But I know it says 1928 on here somewhere. I just don't. I just don't. I think it must be faded, or it's just because some of the parts are a little rough looking these days. But or it might have just it might have been something I stuck on it and it fell off. But anyway, it's not really that important. And yeah, so if you watch this all the way, thank you so much. If you're into the Wizard of Oz, and or you've ever just done shit like this, and you have things that you've hung on to, things that you've made that you appreciate that maybe no one else will, but you know it has deep meaning for you, drop a comment, tell me all about it, because I'm really interested in knowing what other people have hanging around. And yeah, if you want to subscribe, help me get up to 1,000 subs, I'd really appreciate that. That would be awesome. And I don't know, I got this weird accent all of a sudden, I don't know where it come from. But also, I'm losing my voice and my throat's very dry for some reason. Warehouse working. But yeah, yeah. If you want to drop a comment, I definitely will get back. You want to help me get up to 1,000 subs? I'd really appreciate that. You want to like the video? Like the video. I would. You know, I always like seeing a little boink, little extra thumbs up. Other than that, this is all I got to say about this. And if you watched it all the way, thank you so much. And until the next one, bye.